Xenoblade Chronicles is quite the series. I must admit, I have become a fan of its lores, echoing from amazing installments that I have played throughout the years. Since the days of the Monado, I have been treading upon backside of gargantuan beasts, slaying many indigenous creatures. Shulk's expedition was my introduction to this gem of a series, and I have to say, I have been in love with it ever since.
Just now, it was as if I could see into the future.
Xenoblade Chronicles X really was what stole all of my affection. Never have I ever invested so many hours in a game. Over 140 hours. I played this game to no end. I love this game oh so much. The score was absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely on my top RPG list. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a title that I longed for. When I heard of its pending release, I could barely wait to get my hands on it. And when I did, I was quickly enamored by its beautiful upgrade and new direction that the tale was now going in. Being the first real RPG on the Switch, I could hardly wait for this game. The wait was most definitely worth it. I more than loved it. And now, we arrive at the latest installment of the series, Torna, the Golden Country. Once again, when news of this landed upon my eardrums, I was beyond excited. I didn't even know it was coming out. I eagerly counted down the weeks that soon turned to days and waited its continuation. An upgrade in a sense, Torna felt as if it had fixed a few minor issues from the previous entry that had plagued it.
My father is generous. He pays no attention to things like that.
Now, with no further ado, I bring to you my review for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, the Golden Country.
新暦3564年第107代アーケディア法王ラダリアは軍事大国シアへと遠征軍を派兵一夜にしてその首都
Now, JRPGs have stories that often leave us scratching the top of our heads. So complex and convoluted, US gamers can find themselves having a rather difficult time understanding what the heck is going on. In the first part of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 story, we learn of the Aegis and the great task that she must fulfill. All the while, Rex is eagerly in search of Elysium, the Promised Land. Without spoiling the first story, we catch glimpses of her adventure in pieces, fragments of a journey traveled long ago. These flashbacks are not ample enough for the curious gamer, and leave us at a cliffhanger of sorts. Torna the Golden Country offers us the opportunity to finally witness these footsteps that we missed out on. This time, Xenoblade Chronicles takes us back 500 years prior to Rex's tale. At last, we finally get to unveil the great mystery that the original story teased us with.
どこに行く？
ちょっとアデルのとこ。
The story begins with Laura and Jin sprinting through the forest on what already seems to be a mission, fleeing from the wrath of minions and enormous beasts. From the beginning, you almost immediately get the feeling that you are in for a fantastic story, and that you are. It felt so refreshing to dive right back into this world, and I missed it oh so much, and I was terribly eager to finally add the missing puzzle pieces to this great tale. The Aegis, the very evil one, has come forth plaguing the land with a violent wave of terror and devastation, and after bearing witness to the aftermath of his attacks, the party grows fatigued and plans to come together to put a halt to this evildoer named Malos. Now, as excited as I was to hear about the story, I must admit that I found myself rather disappointed. In the previous entry, you hear tales of blades such as Mithra and Bridget executing phenomenal, out-of-this-world feats, but when I take front seat, I don't even recall seeing any of that awesome stuff. To share my distaste even further, I felt the game didn't really provide me with enough information to fully comprehend what was taking place in the beginning of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You also eventually see Laura frozen, but how? Why? What the hell is going on? Adam joins you on the whim, seeming to be the fabled hero of time, yet he did very little to convince me that that was even the truth. And by the end of the game, it's left open for interpretation to conclude what happened. I find myself asking, is there going to be another installment? Because this didn't cease my hunger or ease my confusion at all. Still, despite this major issue, I enjoyed this game. My most favorite part of this game is the combat and the changes that have occurred. The update is great. This is how the first game should have been. I always wondered why the blades just stood behind me as battle raged on. I would also see them in the cutscenes doing some awesome stunts. Where the heck was that when Mr. Level 100 popped out of nowhere? Kinda disappointed that I need to fend for my life here and all you could do is offer me a reaching hand that connects us. Right. Anywho, combat feels smoother this time around. The way the whole break, topple, launch, and smash procedure works is now modified. This time, you feel much more involved. For instance, lower breaks a foe's guard, then you have the new option of switching the point character on the whim. The character coming in, which would be Jin, enters the fray with an attack that immediately causes topple, then the rest of the team follows suit. Mind you, each team specializes in one of these actions. I absolutely adored this, and I rarely skipped a battle because of this very engaging feature. I even sought out to defeat every titan of the land. Combat was just that fulfilling to me. It never felt boring or too stagnant. Objective is still the same. Break, topple, launch, and smash, repeat, all the while stacking up on orbs for a group attack which does loads of damage. Only difference this time around is that there's a new bar that accumulates, and when it's full, you do an even cooler attack. Having combat be solid is the utmost importance in the RPG. In my opinion, I believe that Torna nails it. I had a lot of fun with this, and I can hardly wait to see what it blossoms into next. The tale Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was one coded in an absolutely breathtaking art form, which resembled more of the likes of anime characters. Something that I can't really complain about much. Torna stays true to this by carrying on the formula with beautiful graphics. I loved running around, whether aimlessly or with aim, just admiring the beautiful landscape as a heavenly score accompanied me in the background. Sheesh, as if the music in the first game wasn't superb enough. The new tracks in this game are magnificent, and there are some returning ones, but the new ones shine and are already committed to memory. Music is everything to me in an RPG, just as important as the story. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 delivers extraordinarily well, unsurprisingly. It definitely touched my soul and allowed me to have a deeper understanding with the situation at hand, and helped me better connect with the game overall. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna has also corrected some of the minor errors/shortcomings that rather hindered the greatness of the original game. Little imperfections are now remedied, making things such as item collecting a lot more easier. I must admit though, one thing that I wasn't too thrilled about was the mandatory requirement to complete quests. There are two parts in this game that bring you to a sudden halt, forcing you to level up your community level by doing quests. Side quests are cool, but only when they're optional for me. Too many games nowadays are doing this, and it's outrageous. I get to the final showdown with the last boss, awaiting for our epic clash, but I have to keep him waiting because I have to do a whole bunch of fetch quests. Cut it out, man. This must end now.
この先に滅がいるのか。
それにしても気になります。滅は何だってこんなことを。単なる破壊衝動なんでしょうか。
In summary, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 The Golden Country is an absolutely fantastic game. Despite my complaints for it, which were not at all that grave, Torna is one of my favorite RPGs of this year. Many have said to completed this game within 12 hours, which I don't know how the heck they did, because it took me about 35 to 40, maybe a little longer. With a fun battle system, an amazing cast which was way better than the first one, and a heavenly score which follows you throughout, I had to take my sweet time. I love this, and I recommend it to everyone and anyone who owns a Switch and loves RPGs. It's not a tale to be missed, and I will not soon be forgetting it.
In the course of a lifetime, a man will see uncountable meetings and partings. Yet, as your life's candle sputters and dies, whose face is it that rises to greet you?
Though it didn't play out as cool as it did in the flashbacks, Torna gets a 4 out of 5. And there you have it, my review for Torna, the Golden Country. Do you believe it was worthy of the score that it got? Please, share with me your comments down below. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, and especially if you really enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. It will help me out a lot. Thank you for your time, and as always, stay tuned for more RPGs. Over and out. Oh hey, still there are ya? Thanks for sticking around. Wait, before you go, do me a favor. If you really love RPGs and you're a fanatic just like me, why don't you check out my other 2 videos, my top 5s. I guarantee you'll like them. And I promise you I have a lot more on the way. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for tuning in.